And we are lucky if we have the right kind of heroes. We all need heroes because when we are lost in all the mundane, day-to-day, crisis-ridden life, we need to look up to those people who can beat the odds, who can stand up, and who can stand out, who are just not run down by all the crisis, by all the pain, by all the misery. They just stand out, and then they create something they believe into. Like Spider-Man, Iron Man, like Wonder Woman, and Catwoman, like Batman.
That's enough.
But not only that. So I stop over here. Not only these particular heroes, we're talking about the heroes who are doctors, who are engineers, heroes who are teachers, heroes who are academics, who are public servants, even politicians. And they are heroes. They are those people, in fact, who stand out because they serve. And tonight, it is the third annual night for Leaders of Tomorrow Congress. I'm so glad to present you some of the extraordinary people. The Spider-Man, better than Spider-Man, better than the Iron Man. Those people actually who are young, enthusiastic, they are public servants, they are policemen and policewomen, they are doctors, they are academics, and they are making a difference. They are making this world a better place. And tonight, everyone who sits under this roof, I promise you one thing, that person is extraordinary. All of you have been chosen and invited for that particular reason that you stood up. So let's have a big round of applause for everyone who is here under this roof. Being a hero, you're part of this event. You're part of the Leaders of Tomorrow Congress. Here I stop, and I'll be back.
Okay, as per tradition rather, I would like to call Barrister Gul Nawaz Khan to recite a verse from the Holy Quran to begin the event.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. I'm going to recite a surah, Surah Nasr, which is surah number 110 in the Holy Quran. This is one of the shortest surah in Holy Quran. And one thing special about this surah, that this surah revealed to the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So it was known that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, peace be upon him, may not be anymore in the world with the people. So that was probably the last surah that was written in the tafsir. So I'm going to recite that with translation. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. إذا جاء نصر الله والفتح ورأيت الناس يدخلون في دين الله أفواجا فسبح بحمدك واستغفر إنه كان توابا. When the victory of Allah has come and the conquest, and you see the people entering into the religion of Allah in multitudes, then exalt Him with praise of your Lord and ask forgiveness of Him. Jazakallahu khair. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Barrister Khan. And to formally initiate the evening, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to play the national anthems of Pakistan and the United Kingdom. So may I request you all to rise up.
There's going to be an address by Syed Ibn Abbas, the High Commissioner of Pakistan. May I welcome on stage, please, Syed Ibn Abbas, the High Commissioner of Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Very good evening to all of you. Right Honorable Sajid Javed, Mr. Kamaraza, Chairperson of the WCOP, colleagues, friends. Let me begin by congratulating all the British Pakistanis present here tonight for the tomorrow will be our Pakistan Day celebrations. And I want to congratulate all of them, and I would request them to join us in celebrating the Pakistan Day tomorrow. Very briefly, because since it's the third annual Leaders of Tomorrow conference, I would like to very briefly say, tell our young friends, how this country came to come about. And that is, exactly 78 years ago, on 23rd March in 1940, Muslims of subcontinent pledged to have a separate homeland. So exactly 7 years later, on 14th August 1947, the existence of Pakistan became a reality. So I think very briefly, this is what we'll be celebrating tomorrow, which is our National Day. So I would urge all of the younger people to be part of those celebrations. So ladies and gentlemen, I do not want to sort of go in detail because I was not supposed to be speaking, but they have since asked me to come and say a few words. I would like to congratulate the WCOP and all its management for holding this Congress, because I think that's the way to go about it, because we have to invest in our youth for our better tomorrow. So I think they are doing the right thing. I am seeing a very powerful group of people here who in their own right have done very well in their own respective fields. And we are really honored with the presence of the Right Honorable Sajid Javed, who sometimes takes time out to be part of these celebrations. And I remember I had the honor to share and sit next to him at the Pakistan Society's annual dinner also. So I think he is a great speaker. He will give us his thoughts for tonight, which I also look forward to listening like all of you. But before I conclude, I would like to thank WCOP for giving this opportunity, because I am a firm believer that we must work and engage the youth. And that is the reason this year, 2018, and throughout the year, we at the High Commission will be engaging the youth. We will be visiting them in the universities and colleges, and so would we be inviting them to come over. Because last 3 years we have been working with various segments and sections of the society, but this year we will be particularly focusing on the youth. And that is the reason, if all goes well, inshallah, I'm going to be sending 5 British Pakistanis youth to go and visit Pakistan. Because I think what they will go and watch firsthand, that will be a reality. Because the greatest challenge for us, friends, is a perception. So we have to get that perception right. So by getting these young people out there to see what they see is not a reality. Pakistan is a modern and moderate country, and we are progressing very fast. So I think I want them to go and see, because there's a perception and there's a reality. I'm sure when these people will come back, they will be our true ambassadors, and that's what we need. Thank you very much for your patient listening, hearing to me, and I'm really grateful to the organizers for changing the program just because to fit me in, and I thank you again. Thank you very much.
I just wonder whether I can do all those people that go to Pakistan. I'd love to. So if you need a girl to go as well, no. Okay. Anyway, before the keynote, I'm going to invite the another inspiration behind this organisation to come and talk to you. Would you please welcome the co-chairman of the Conservative Friends of Pakistan and chairman of WCOP, Syed Kamar Raza. I do feel I should tell a few jokes while these poor men have to walk the long walk up to the stage. Thank you.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Right Honorable Sajid Javed, His Excellency Sayyid Ibn Abbas, I welcome you all in the annual Leader Tomorrow Congress. This annual event of WCOP is designed to highlight the achievement of the men, women, and the youth of British Pakistani diaspora and other communities from the area of education, politics, law, public services, science and medicine, businesses and finance, sports and media, and not only profit sector. This event aims to highlight how the diaspora communities are adding value to the community at large in the UK. Today we have a privilege to have champions in this hall from 11 different ethnics from all over the United Kingdom. Today we gather here as we believe that our tomorrow is going to be even brighter than are today. Because all these men and women and young champions who are present here, they are making this world a better place. We have doctors from NHS, policemen and women from the Met and City of London Police, professionals from the Home Office, solicitors and barristers from the top firms and institutions, teachers, academics, fashion designers and artists, students, sportspersons, homemakers, leaders, mentors, authors, community builders, and young leaders. We all are indebted to you. We are so proud of you of what you are doing and accomplishing for the United Kingdom. We have the honor of having Right Honorable Syed Javed among us. Our Secretary of State for Communities clearly understands the vital needs of social integration, social cohesion, and promotion of British values. Dear Sajid, we heard you unveiling the 50 million integrated communities strategy, which will focus on helping people learn English, encouraging more women to find work, and promoting meaningful discussion between young people. And I'm happy to announce our full support of this initiative. And let me also share that we are already taking lead on all these above mentioned items. While we take pride in our UK being the most diverse society, we also understand that there are people living in exclusion and island of poverty and segregation. We have gathered today in playing our part in and whether they come from. Let's have our own British dream that gives us power and inspires us to make the most of our mind, lives, and academic and intellectual asset. I'm really grateful for Right Honorable Syed Javed. He spared his busy time from his busy schedule, and he honored this occasion. And I'm also thankful for the High Commissioner of Pakistan, Sayyid Ibn Abbas, which I always called him. He is very popular in our community, and he is ever popular High Commissioner in Pakistan, High Commission. With these words, God bless you all. Pakistan Zindabad and Great Britain Paindabad.
Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman, for sharing the ethos. And this is the time actually to go for the keynote speaker. It was actually agreed that Right Honorable Sajid Javed would be the keynote speaker, and he is actually. He'll be opening the event. However, we just wanted to give some of the background, because tonight we don't have only the British Pakistanis, but as Chairman announced, people, champions, high achievers from 11 different ethnicities and 35 nationalities, they're also here. And they are representing their own fields. There are different, diverse fields in which they champion their cause. So this is the time to listen to the keynote speaker. And actually, before I invite him, on a lighter note, 2 years back, being son of a bus driver became a trend at the Twitter, social media, and various places. At that time, it was our Labour friend, Siddiq Khan, running for the Mayor of London position. We work with all the parties, actually. We work with the Labour, with the Conservative, with other parties, because we want to empower all the parties and participate in the public service. So that time, actually, like Siddiq Khan announced, and people came to know that he is son of a bus driver, and he was actually pulling his socks to go for one of the most coveted positions in the UK. And then we found out something about Lady Warsi. Then we found out that Sajid Javed's father was also a bus driver. And actually, it became a kind of a trend so much that people said, oh, my father is not a bus driver. So it became such a large trend. Now, Sajid is such a success story, actually, and him being the keynote actually matters much more because his stance, his position, and whatever he's contributing to United Kingdom, it matters so much because he comes from a humble background, but then he rose to the top. And he is an inspiration to so many of us, and probably all of us. So that's why, let's give a big roaring round of applause to Sajid Javed.
Well, Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good evening, High Commissioner, ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to be here. Somewhere, as I've just heard, and with the wonderful, warm reception you've given me, where I know that you all know who I am. I say that because it wasn't that long ago, just a couple of months ago, I was leaving my office just opposite the Houses of Parliament, and as I walked out, I was walking with one of my officials, and suddenly this stranger comes up, stops me, and he says, "You're that politician. You're always on telly. You're always talking about houses. You're doing a great job." Not often that I get praise like that, so I took it and said, "Thank you very much." He said, "Can I have a selfie?" So I thought, well, why not? Let's do a selfie. Did the selfie, and as he's walking away, he's still got his phone in his hand, and now he's calling someone, and I overhear him. He says, "Guess what? I just met Sadiq Khan." I don't know who he was. White people, they all look the same to me. Because it's especially good to be here on the eve of Pakistan Day, a celebration of its march towards independence. Now, I know that how much this milestone means not just to our family and friends living in Pakistan today, but also, of course, to the huge, vast Pakistan diaspora across the world, including, of course, right here in the United Kingdom. 1.2 million strong. They represent one of the largest communities outside Pakistan, playing a huge role here across all walks of our life, in our businesses, in our public services, transforming everything from our food to our culture and everything in between, including, of course, our politics. I'm very proud to stand here today as the first British Pakistani Secretary of State. But I have to tell you, there's no chance of me getting too big for my boots. You see, when I was, recently I was named Britain's most influential Asian, 3rd year in a row. I was so excited, and I went back, a couple of days later, I went back home to my home in Bristol, where my mother lives. And I told her, and she looked at me, and she said, "Oh yes, well done, now be a good beta and take out the bins." But it's fantastic to see more Pakistanis and other people from all ethnic minorities at the highest level of our politics and our public life. Dedicated, talented individuals, like my friend Nusrat Ghani, for example, who very recently became the first Muslim female minister to speak at the House of Commons dispatch box. The last election, it delivered the most diverse parliament ever, with a record number of Asian MPs being elected across 3 different parties. And I do think it's important, 3 different political parties, because no party can claim a right over your political beliefs just because of the color of the skin or because of your country of origin. At the last election, I have to say, there was a certain party that did say on some posters, they put out, and I quote, "Only we can unlock the talent of black, Asian, and ethnic minority people." But I think we can all agree that that is deeply patronizing. I choose to vote for and I get involved in my party because I decided it represented my values. The values that my parents imparted on me. The values that drove me forward to make something for myself and to make a difference. I wasn't waiting around for some politician to graciously unlock my potential. I believe in the importance of family, of responsibility, of community, of hard work, enterprise, and self-reliance. That's what drives me. But I, of course, respect anyone who makes a different choice based on their own values and their own judgments. And moving on beyond the world of politics and government, I believe we can continue to build on and increase representation in so many other areas. The list of influential Asians that I mentioned a moment ago, it saw British Pakistanis taking 3 of the top 4 spots. For example, with the Hollywood star Riz Ahmed at number 3, showing that we're branching out beyond the traditional occupations of doctor, accountant, or shopkeeper. We're also underlining the close bond between Britain and Pakistan. I remember visiting Pakistan for the first time when I was around 6 or 7 years old, and thinking that time and time that many times have been since then, that although of course it's a different country to the UK, in many ways the people and what they want out of life, the chance to get on and build a better future for themselves, for the next generation, that's very familiar. Those aren't British values or Pakistani values. They are values that I think are shared by hard-working people right across the world. And it's on the basis of these values that we are continuing to forge our stronger and deeper links between our 2 great countries. Particularly when we are addressing the challenges that Pakistan faces. As you all know too well, almost 1/3 of Pakistan's population still lives in poverty. That's 60 million people, mostly women. There are some 23 million children that do not attend school, and over half of the adult population, including 2/3 of women, cannot read or write. Which is just one of the reasons why Pakistan remains a top priority for the United Kingdom, and why we continue to strongly support development through our international aid programme. Last year alone, £422 million was distributed by the UK to help raise living standards and to deliver educational, health and social benefits. And the results speak for themselves. Since 2011, the UK aid has helped educate almost 7 million primary school children in Pakistan, provided training in new skills for almost 150,000 people, over half of which were women. And it's ensured nearly 1 million births involved nurses, midwives and doctors. So important progress is being made, and not just in Pakistan. We in Britain, of course, we face our own challenges too. Our diversity and the Pakistani community's contribution to this is one of our country's greatest strengths. And we should all, of course, take great pride in this. But there is more to be done to ensure that a diverse society does not mean a divided society. In too many parts of our country, mistrust, anxiety, and sometimes prejudice can prevent people from taking advantage of the opportunities that Britain has to offer everyone. Sadly, we've seen this just in recent weeks with the abhorrent Punish a Muslim letters. There's a determination, sadly, among some people out there to try to drive us apart. We will never let them succeed. But we can no longer duck the issues if we are to ensure that this is a country that works for everyone. Which is why, as you just heard a moment ago, why I launched a bold set of proposals just last week to help build stronger, more integrated communities. Communities where people, whatever their background, wherever they come from, that they can live, work, learn and socialise together based on shared rights, responsibilities and opportunities. The ability to make the most of these opportunities starts with sharing a common language. At the last census, as many as 770,000 adults in England could not speak English well or at all. Of this number, people with Pakistani ethnicity are among the highest proportion of people with poor English language skills, especially women. I know from personal experience just how much of a difference it made for my mother when she learned to speak English more than a decade after she arrived in Britain from Pakistan. And I know that many of you here today, you will perhaps have mothers, grandmothers, aunts, and other family and friends who struggle still to communicate in English. And you will know how much of a barrier this can be in accessing, for example, public services, in finding work, and just playing that full role in society. Which is exactly why we are proposing to develop a new strategy for English language in England and launch a new community-based English language program. And this is just a start. I want to see more British Pakistanis reaching their potential in all areas, including, for example, this country's rich sporting culture, with women and girls in particular as the stars of the pitch, the pool, the track, breaking records, making friends, and beating their personal best in every sense. And there are many other really exciting, inclusive initiatives happening all around the country. For example, with Ramadan around the corner, I've heard that there are many plans for more midnight Ramadan football fixtures, which involve local communities coming together through sports, after Isha prayers and before Shahur. A great example of local communities coming together through sport and breaking down barriers and building bridges. Just ask my friend Shahid Azim, who's with us today, with all the work he's done, for example, through Aldershot FC. Excellent examples of how we can bring people together to sport. Now, I just want to finish by thanking you all for all your efforts to strengthen the ties between our two great nations. And thank you especially to WCOP for everything that you do and that you continue to do. I think we can all agree that together we represent the best of both worlds. I know that, like me, many of you wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for your parents and the sacrifices that they made. Sacrifices that involve moving halfway around the world with often nothing more than a burning commitment to create a better life, not just for themselves, but for all of us, the next generation. We all have a shared duty to ensure that these cherished values continue to help us build a better future, not just here in Britain or in Pakistan, but the world over. So thank you once again, and enjoy your evening. Thank you.
Before you escape, Honourable Sajid Javid, can we just get you to do one thing for us, please?
Depends what it is.
Oh, cheeky. We're going to ask you to present an award in appreciation of WCOP's efforts for inspiring leaders of tomorrow and the world. So can I please have the award somewhere there? Yes, lovely. And can I have the chairman, please, of WCOP up again, Syed Kamal Razak? Can you please come up and accept the award on behalf of WCOP? Thank you.
We have a very special message from Pakistan Peace Collective, but before that happens, we need that particular message in the USB. We, as mentioned and shared, the women leaders who are actually making a difference, they are a big part of World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis. There is a world within world which is women world, and we all know how powerful that is. So we have the privilege of having a women world, which is WCOP Women World. I'll be the format of the evening is that we would avoid speechathon. We heard already the key message, and we will be taking that message home. So we'll be bringing and inviting the champions, those people who are making difference collectively, and one person from their side will be actually sharing a quick, brief word for 2 minutes. So I'll be inviting, first of all, our Women World champions, the ladies, the steering committee who are leading the Women World. So may I request all of you to quickly come over to the stage. Yes, please. So the Women World Steering Committee, you are requested to join over the stage, and then you get to a video now. I'll be inviting Hira Malik and Aisha Mahmood to join us. So we have people, women traveling from Glasgow, women traveling from the north to be here. So these are our amazing Women World, and they are doing incredible work to empower women and make a difference. So for the contribution, actually, I'll be requesting two of the amazing women, Sania Qureshi and Faiza Rizvi, to share what they're doing and what incredible work they're doing. So I'll be requesting Sania Qureshi in first place to say her brief words, and then.
Thank you. That was very impromptu. Before I say a few words, I just wanted to ask the gentlemen in the room, who's your sort of most beloved female heroine or heroine? That doesn't include your mums, by the way. So if I could have a show of hands, just a couple of people who, you know, who pops into mind? And I'm hoping you do have a female heroine in your life. The gentle Asa?
Yeah, my wife.
Your wife? Wow. Is she sitting on that table? She's not here. Okay, fabulous. And at the back, Afzal?
My 10-year-old daughter.
Wow. Wives and daughters. Anyone not related? Fatma Jinnah, lovely. Any other gentlemen, just quickly? Female heroine. You should all be putting up your hands here. Seriously, guys. One more hand. Yeah, sorry. Asma Jahangir, absolutely, respect. So my point to you all is that we don't need acknowledgement or to be recognized for our achievements. We want to stand together with you all. I think if we stand together with you all, our diaspora will be a far more stronger force to reckon with. And that is really necessary, more than ever before in Britain today and in the global landscape. Each one of us in our respective spheres of work, in our respective communities, are trying to make the world a better place. And we can only do that if we all stand together. So if I could have a huge round of applause for these ladies first. And in recognition of WCOP women's work, the Pakistani British community, or the Pakistani community generally, gets a bad name as far as their women are concerned. We're not seen as promoting or supporting our women. I can tell you from within that we have phenomenal stories, we have phenomenal role models, women, not just in this country, but back home in Pakistan. And part of the women's conference which we're hosting, which WCOP is hosting with us in October in London, is to actually push out those stories, actually recognize how much women are contributing within community and at pace, and becoming the role models for the next generation. Because we have our sights on you. It's not about us anymore, it's about the next lot coming through. And we want to ensure that that hand-holding, that signposting, that mentorship is consistent and available to all of you. So if I hand over to Faiza. Faiza, you're going to say something about it.
Thank you very much, Sania. Chairman WCOP Kamar Raza, distinguished representative of government department, esteemed leaders, friends, and ladies and gentlemen. I'm Faiza Rizvi. I'm representing the WCOP Board of Governors here. I welcome you all to our Leaders of Tomorrow Congress. Thank you very much for supporting our work, and you have been extreme as inspiration for us. I'd like to thank you all, to the community leaders who are here. I say this with special pride in the presence of so many distinguished guests who have encouraged WCOP work and have supported our leadership vision. To this event, I would like to tell you that next chapter for WCOP is promoting leadership. To do this, how are we going to do that? To do this, we have approached a number of diverse communities, and the response from the communities have been excellent. It has been very, very, very positive. Some of the leaders are here, some of the partners are here. We are actually proposing, and Julie, what you just said, that we need community leaders at school governors, in prisons, in different partnerships. Exactly this is what we are proposing. We are proposing that we will take people from different diverse backgrounds and in priority neighborhoods. We propose to advise them, support, guidance, as well as provide them with some training and placement support. Maybe it will be with the Conservative Party or any other place, and help them take on the leadership role. That leadership role could be a young girl, it could be an older gentleman or a disabled person. That in itself would be the true and real integrated communities. I speak on behalf of WCOP here that the integrated communities green paper, which has just been out, we welcome the equality statement for this community strategy in that green paper. In this time of austerity, I would like to ask the Secretary of State, I know he's not here, but I know his departmental aides are here. How and what is your vision that how are you going to promote real integration? How will you support our communities in priority neighborhoods? How is that real sustainable change will be embedded into our communities and into our priority neighborhoods? I must say that our proposal that we are proposing exactly does that. We have been working very hard with different communities, and let's hope that we take this forward, and I'm pretty sure we can take this forward with your support, with your help, and together we can make it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being on the for the amazing women for making a big deal of difference. I request you to please take your seats. As you look at this wonderful poster, you have some amazing heartthrobs. Those people who've done amazing stuff. Our young people, the leaders of tomorrow. One of such, we have different, it's a champions league, we have different champions. One of them relates to particularly education, and here we talk about the universities. Last year, with the Pakistani Foundation, World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis and the Pakistani Foundation, we worked together. Last year, we reached out to approximately 18 universities. This time, we intend to reach out to approximately 30. We have, they are an amazing team, and that's led by a very young and dynamic fellow. I'll be inviting the Pakistani Foundation team onto the stage quickly so that people could identify who are the winners. So the Pakistani Foundation team, give them a big round of applause from the British universities. And Awais Malik, the young Awais Malik, is the chairman of the Pakistani Foundation, and he's going to quickly introduce us to the organization and the work of these amazing colleagues.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. It's an honor to be here tonight, and I would like to thank Mr. Arif Anis for giving me this platform and inviting me to WCOP's Leaders of Tomorrow. The Pakistani Foundation is a student-voiced organization that has grown to be the biggest Pakistani student union in the UK, with over 15 different societies registered, and our numbers are increases as we go nationwide. We are passionate about Pakistan and strive to be involved in initiatives in which we can give back to our motherland and promote a positive image of Pakistan. 3 years ago, when I founded the Pakistani Foundation, my idea was to unite the Pakistani students and become a hub for the UK-based Pakistani organization, but also to help improve illiteracy rates in Pakistan. as we all are extremely fortunate to be educated to a level where we would all consider ourselves literate. But we need to understand what illiteracy means, because this word gets thrown around everywhere. Imagine you're struggling to read and write. Your life is filled with fear, ignorance, and lack of knowledge. You are reduced to tears by anxiety of not being able to understand what's going on around you. And every day, you better yourself. But the reality is poverty from low-skilled work. Illiteracy is a life sentence. I'd like to quote the famous words of Martin Luther King. I have a dream. However, my dreams have become my vision, which motivates me every day. I have a vision where education is not a luxury, but a necessity, a freedom. Education is the most powerful weapon, and we must use it to change the world. I have a vision where every child has access to education, and will be educated in Pakistan, making Pakistan the beacon of light to the rest of the world. I believe the Pakistani Foundation will help deliver this. With me all, Pakistan. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your amazing words. And yes, the journey has just started. You'll see I'll be inviting another cohort of champions, and this one is from the City of London Police. We have 4 guests from here, and they are also doing incredible work. I'll be inviting Omar Haq and colleagues. Omar Haq and colleagues from the City of London Police. Once again, a quick brief word.
There's some angry faces in the room. I won't stay for too long. I know you all guys are all hungry and stuff. My background is here at London Police. I've been in the police for about 11 years. I'm also the chair of the Association of Muslim Police, and also work for the Counter-Terrorism Security Advisory Office. It's a great pleasure and privilege to be here tonight. Thank you for inviting me, and thank you for the guests here. He's asked me to say a few words. What I can say is Pakistani contribution to the UK and its economy is, you can't rate it. It is immense, and it's been immense from a very long time. Our fathers, forefathers arrived in the country in the late 60s, early 70s, just to make their life a bit better. The second, third generation from now on have moved on to various different positions. We've got people in the pharmaceutical, people in the industry of law, police, like myself. And it's great, It's my first time here. Arif invited me tonight, and it's a privilege to be amongst a lot of you here. So thank you again, and enjoy the dinner.
I'm not standing in the way of your food, because the food, the wheels have been set in motion, so it will be served very soon. Well, I am standing for council candidate, and I'm not here to talk about myself. I'm here to say that somebody thought that I had the right education skills, that I was talented, and that I could be perhaps more than just a mother to my 2 boys. How many women here are mothers who think they're mothers? Please put your hands up. Who think they're just mothers? You're not just mothers. You're builders of nations. That's what a mother does. She builds nations. And somebody who thought I could be more than a mother asked me to stand. She thought I have the capability to contribute to my community, and they asked me to stand. And so I am. How many men or women in this hall today are standing for the local elections coming up? Well done. Well done. quickly today, a woman who was awarded the OBE for being responsible for educating, training, English training 9,000 Muslim women. Durdana Ansari, please stand up. Thank you for your contribution to the community. There's a woman here who has worked so hard to highlight the plight of Muslim women trapped in unregistered marriages. Aina Khan, please stand up. Thank you for your contribution to the community. There's a woman here who has gone and lived with women in hard areas of Fatah, who want to stand for politics, who want to stand in elections, but no party will take them. She has gone, she has lived in their villages with them, made documentaries on them, and please may I ask Huma Beg to stand up. Thank you for contributing to our community and Can I please ask the table of the wonderful App for All Pakistan Women's Association women to stand up. Thank you for being that social link with the British community. Thank you. To all the women who are doctors, lawyers, any profession that you're in, female students who are empowering other female students and showing them the way, politicians who are showing other women that they can contribute in the area of politics. I am here with you, and I'm going to call on stage a wonderful woman whose family fled from Cyprus because of the situation there. And they were immigrants. Today we talk about immigrants and we say, oh well, should we let them in, not let them in, how can we integrate them into society? Here is an example for you of how this woman, her family, is integrated. What did she do to come and stand where she is today? She's representing women to win, and she is trying her best to get a 50-50 parliament. Gonal Daniels.
Wow, what an introduction. How can I follow that? Thank you, Alia, for that. So thank you very much for inviting me to speak at your Leaders of Tomorrow Congress and to speak about women going into politics and public life. So my name's Gonal Daniels, and as Alia said, I come from an ethnic background and I'm a second-generation immigrant as a result of my parents fleeing the problems in Cyprus. So in my family, I'm the fourth daughter, followed by two sons. So in a traditional Turkish Cypriot family, men were expected to have a career and be educated, and women were expected to become a secretary for a short period until they found their husband and got married, and then they became a homemaker. So I had no voice in my family. So I've experienced prejudice and barriers in my personal life and career, as well as in politics, and I come from an ethnic background. But those experiences have made me stronger and much more resilient, and more determined to be treated equally. So I work with the Conservative Friends of Turkey and the Conservative Outreach Group to work with communities. I'm very active in my local community, and 6 years ago I ran a campaign to address the lack of primary school places in my local community. So the local Labour administration refused to help me just because I'm Conservative. So I used my position as a school governor at a school to set up a multi-academy trust and create a brand new free school. 6 years on, that free school is open, and 120 children at the moment are getting an outstanding education. In 2014, I stood as a candidate in the local council elections in Edmonton, a no-hoper seat that I wasn't expected to win. In 2015, I went on to be the MP candidate in Edmonton. Again, a no-hoper that I wasn't expected to win. In 2017, I went on to be the Edmonton MP candidate again, a no-hoper that I wasn't expected to win. Well, you'll be glad to hear that this year I'm standing for the London council elections in a target seat, so I may win it. It is winnable.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening to everybody. First of all, I give great congratulations to WCOP. As you just heard, my name is Muhammad Asghar. And I don't want to say inspiration and everything. I came here in 1970. I couldn't speak English. I had only $22 in my pocket. And there's a good old saying, why Pakistani, Indian and Bangladeshis never play football. Does anybody knows? When they get a corner, they open a shop. I actually told David Cameron the same joke. And he said, you are the only one can talk like this. But the fact is, we Pakistanis have great zeal. No matter where we go, I live in Wales, 47 years. I'm 73 years old. And I got a daughter, she stood for election, 5 elections. Against all the odds, I won 3 elections. The fact is, never give up. Never give up. Never give up. My first advice to every young person, man and woman, is respect and never give up. Don't think where you come from. Think where you're heading toward.
Thank you.
Right, so Champion League, and we are over to Barrister Mehdi.
Please can we have on stage Michelle Kazi, Faisal, Hamza, Hayan, Sabah, Hassan. You are between the food and people. So please do arrive like the champions. Michelle Kazi, Noor Haider Khan. If I'm forgetting somebody who I've nominated, please do not have me for dinner after this instead. And just please do come on the stage. Hopefully I'm not forgetting anyone. What makes Britain beautiful is its diversity and how plural it is. Some people call it a melting pot, but it's actually, Britain is like a mosaic, where each part makes it more beautiful and has its importance. Or like a tapestry, where every stitch has its place. What makes Britain beautiful is its diversity. And what makes Britain beautiful are the vibrance, the colors, and the diversities from Pakistan. We have with us people like Michelle Kazi, who have attended more than 50 United Nations conferences, and she has now been elected as the first Secretary General of the Model United Nations. We have with us people like Sabah, who is a multi-award-winning BBC journalist. And we have with us Major Faisal. Is he on the stage here? Yeah. Well, some might argue that he's the youngest, but he's definitely amongst the first majors to be serving in the British Armed Forces. We have Hamza, who is a member of the Youth Parliament, who was elected as a member of the Youth Parliament and was one of the youngest school governors for Slough. So we have, and then we have Hayan, who is the co-founder of the all-party parliamentary group of British Muslims, and he has formed various other parliamentary groups as well. Barrister Hayan, come on, there has got to be, I just said barrister also, and, made parliamentary groups. He has been contributing. He deserves the... We have with us Noor Haider Khan. She is one of the top 25 finance students. And we have with us Hassan Iqbal, and I think if I do not, because there was this thing about women empowerment earlier as well, and if I mention him, And if I do not mention his mother, Hifza. Only reason why we didn't, acknowledge Hifza is that she's already out there, and she was recently acknowledged her services by Her Majesty the Queen as well. And I think her son, whatever happens in Pakistan, whether there's a flood or whether there's an earthquake, Hifza will just be out there trying to help the people. And I think her son has taken it from her. To be such an amazing philanthropist and trying to get the vulnerable people employed here in Britain. And all I would like to say is, I would like to end with a quote of Dr. Because as Arif Bhai knows that whatever I say, it cannot end with something which is so straightforward. I think when we talk about politics and when we talk about political procedures, it is important for the people who have been talking on difficult topics to also become a part, they should be able to become a part of the political procedure as well. It should be people who have been leading from the front, been talking on difficult issues. And I would like to I'd like to end this with a quote from Dr. Martin Luther King, that one of the greatest liabilities of history is that too many people fail to remain awake through great periods of social change. Every society has its protectors of status quo and its fraternities of the indifferent, who are notorious for sleeping through revolutions. Today, our very survival depends on our ability to stay awake, to adjust to new ideas, to remain vigilant and face the challenges of change. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for your presence here. It's been a pleasure acknowledging you and appreciating what you have achieved. And thanks for inspiring more among us. Now, there's going to be one song, and that's going to be one song which is relevant with the Pakistan Day tomorrow. But before that happens, I must share an amazing news with you. Like World Congress of Overseas Pakistanis, it does and leads on many amazing projects, but one of them is going to happen in Pakistan within March this month. This took 2 years actually to support that. One of our board members, Tariq Salman, brought this one. And this relates to actually educating millions of children in Pakistan in creative imagination. So we named it EduNation Project. So this project, the fundraising was done for this one, and now the whole cohort, the first cohort, is actually all ready to be taught by a few of the best in Great Britain. This is being done in coordination with Bella Reza Jamil, who is here from Pakistan, in fact, on a very exclusive visit and trip. She's here, and I'll be taking her only 2 minutes, how she believes this project is going to change and contribute to education in Pakistan. So, big round of applause. Bella Reza Jamil from Pakistan. Bella is known as a serial educationist, and she's done amazing, like hundreds and thousands of students are benefiting. So a quick word acknowledging actually what's going to happen.
Excellencies, honorable guests and leaders, it's been an amazing evening to hear the quantum and quality of leadership that exists here. We've heard of many firsts from this community and the diaspora. But as so many said earlier, and I know that this is really painful to have so many people speak, but as we've heard so many people say that at the end of the day, the bottom line is education. It's that capability that is truly transformative. We are very privileged to be working with the Bloomsbury Group, with Tariq Salman and his team, and to be collaborating on something that needs to be done even further and deeper and broader between Pakistan and Britain. So much is being done, much more can be done. But this teacher training project is about critical thinking, it's about 21st century skills. And we all know that in this day and age of fourth industrial revolution, about 40 to 50% jobs will not be redundant because of what's happening, cutting edge work, whether it is on artificial intelligence or robotics, and so many of the jobs will be displaced. Where do we go from here? How do we connect? How do we create mentors between Pakistan and Britain? And I think people like you need to think about pairing relationships which will be of equal stature, but certainly very transformative. We look forward to it. And as the founder of the Children's Literature and the Teacher Literature Festivals, we hope that we'll be able to collaborate with many of you here for Pakistan and Britain. And I'm very honored that today we also have Noorjahan Dhanani, who's head of the Idara Talim o Agahi UK, working with all of you here. But kudos to WCOP and all of you here, and we hope that we'll be working in multiple ways for leadership across the countries. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. All right. Khawateen or Hazrat, Salam. Is Kasuzi British Pakistani Takrib Ma Akhir Hum Sab Sabat Mastruhan. Matutinka Numa Indahun Jo Pakistani Kane or culture Ki Ila Mash Hurahai Umain Usaya Patnaga Bana Liahai Tumain Yekine Kahak Da Hun Kasab Award winners Ke Lehum Bahat Mubarak Parish Katahen. And to the achievers, Sitarun, Siagai, Jahan O Bihen. And finally, WCOP, Apke Is Zabadask, Koshi Ikal, Bahat Mubarak Bad. Shukriya. Thank you very much again.
ऐसी ज़मीन और आसमां इनके सिवा जाना कहाँ बढ़ती रहे ये रोशनी चलता रहे ये कारवां दिल दिल पाकिस्तान जान जान पाकिस्तान दिल दिल पाकिस्तान जान जान पाकिस्तान दिल दिल.
Dr. Sahel Chaktai. Dr. Sahel Chaktai, please come onto the stage. Is the food good, by the way? Is it good? The tummy's rumbling. Dr. Sahel Chaktai, President of WCOP. Thank you.
It's very hard to come off the table while you're eating and say thank you note, but I just want to express a lot of courtesy to all of you who have come long distances to attend us. This event marks 37th event in the last 5 years of WCOP of social integration. Thank you very much. I want to be brief here. I just want to mention something about, a lady said that life is a marathon, not a sprint. For a Pakistani, it's a test match, not a T20. Thank you.